Well, Deputies, I'm really glad we had that discussion. I think it was a really elevated and constructive series of contributions from people with a range of different views, but actually pointing and pushing towards some similar kinds of themes. I think in a world of polarization, of messy and combative conversation, we are left to hold two concurrent thoughts that many people seem unable to hold. The first is that Israel has the right to expect it deserves security. And it is not enough for people to simply say, oh yes, Hezbollah, Hamas should be disarmed. They need to act to disarm Hezbollah and Hamas. At the same time, that there are principal values that are absolutely embedded in the Declaration of Independence, in every founding document of Zionism, which are not currently being lived out by Israel's government. And we need to be able to hold those two thoughts in our head at one time. Now, inevitably, given the diversity of the community, some people will think we don't speak out enough. Some people will think we speak out too much. We're constantly riding that balance, and conversations like this are helpful in terms of defining it. I think colleagues rightly said that Israelis, particularly Israeli ministers of the right, tend to be annoyed by people who describe themselves as critical friends. We're not critical friends, we're family. And that means a deeper, more intense relationship with Israel. That means that we share in its joys, we mourn in its losses, and sometimes we have the disappointment that family has towards other family in that way. In policy terms, what this means is the following. In our conversations with the UK government, we are going to continue to campaign robustly for Israel's security. That means seeing Iran as the threat that it is. The campaign for the proscription of the IRGC will continue unabated. It is unacceptable that they remain unprescribed in the country. In Lebanon, we want to see Hezbollah disarmed. We want the UK government to lean into the current talks for normalization of Israel, which would be a huge blessing to both countries and to the region. But it is no longer enough for them to say, disarm Hezbollah, disarm Hamas, as kind of an afterthought in statements criticizing Israel. They actually need to show what they're going to do it. And in the West Bank, and I'll say a bit more about this in a minute, of course it's right that there should be accountability for Israel, and for extremist violent settlers should be accountability. We also need to see reform of the Palestinian Authority, who continue in forms that pay for slave policy, who continue incitement. We need to see all that changed as well. And to the Israeli government, and indeed to different political leaders in Israel, to the government, the opposition, to civil society, our message is do better. Do a lot better. We cannot see the things that we're seeing because simply, friends, we cannot defend the indefensible. We will not defend the indefensible. And some of the things we've seen in terms of the West Bank, in terms of this discriminatory death penalty, are unacceptable. We will not defend them. Similarly, it's really important to say this, that in 6 months, a maximum, Israel will go to the elections. And Israel's international standing is on the ballot. And I thought this was put very well by one of the last speakers, if we continue to see Smotrich and Veer speaking on behalf of the Israeli government as ministers, even if that's not the government policy officially, that will continue to degrade Israel's standing in the world. Different political leaders need to understand that. They need to understand that yes, some critics of Israel come from a place of anti-Semitism, no doubt about that. But others genuinely want Israel to succeed and thrive, and are appalled by betrayal of the Western democratic values that we have for so long held up as one of Israel's greatest strengths. So continue to do all of those things. I thank you for your ongoing engagement. I thank you for the thoughtful ways that you've presented today. I'm really glad we had this discussion. Thank you.